Hi there and welcome to me, Audrina Lane, and the next instalment of Where Did Your Heart Go? We are now up to chapter 17 and this chapter starts with a diary entry from Sunday the 1st of May 1998. Waking up early, I decided to surprise James and made him breakfast in bed. I quickly pulled on my knickers and James's discarded t-shirt from the night before and padded down to the kitchen. Once the coffee and toast were ready, I decided to finish the washing up from our meal last night, so I filled the sink and stuck my hands into the warm, soapy water, imagining that this was our house, wondering if living with James would be as magical as the times we had already spent together. I was so engrossed in my daydream about the future that I didn't hear him creep up behind me, so when his arms wrapped themselves around me, I jumped a mile. "Oh, you scared me," I laughed as I turned and, trying not to drip water or bubbles on the floor, I leaned in for a welcome kiss. "You look lovely in my t-shirt." "What, even with my hands covered in soap suds?" "Definitely," he murmured, as his hands wandered down to the hem of the t-shirt and then disappeared underneath it. I felt helpless as I couldn't reach the nearest towel, so instead I placed them on James's bare back, this time making him jump as the water droplets ran down his spine. "You are wicked," he whispered. "I think I need to take you upstairs." And before I could say another word, he hoisted me over his shoulder in the traditional fireman's lift, and I was back in his bed where we spent an enjoyable couple of hours with each other's company and bodies. James didn't venture as far this morning, so I took the lead and removed his boxer shorts. "Show me how to make you come," I asked, blushing. "Even better, I'll help you to do it," he replied. "Are you sure about this?" "Not really, but sort of, if that makes any sense." "No." He laughed, and then before I could say anything more, he started to kiss me as we lay down together, and he slowly moved his hands in mine. Reaching over, he grabbed the bottle of baby oil from the night before and dropped some onto my palm. "You might need this," he breathed, as he guided my hand down. Then with his hand he wrapped it around, and then started a slow sweeping up and down motion. As I did this, we continued to kiss as his free hand moved up and into my hair, gently pulling me closer and tighter into his embrace as the rhythm got faster and faster before he shuddered. "Stephanie," he whispered in my ear as he went still in my embrace. After a few minutes he reached for some tissues before lying back. "That was beautiful," he murmured, kissing me slowly. "You sure?" "Absolutely, but I'm a bit hungry now and could do with a shower. Care to join me?" "I'd love to." After another dreamy session of bubbles in the shower, we reached the kitchen where we had started. "I think it's a bit late for toast now. How about fish finger sandwiches?" "Sounds great. Never had one of those before," I replied. "Shall I butter the bread then?" As we got on with the task in hand, I caught myself glancing at James, and I felt his stare on me. This felt so right, it was amazing. "There's a fun fair on and a band playing later in the park. Do you fancy going?" James asked. "Sounds great." "Some of the guys are going from work, so I said we'd meet them there." "But what shall we do between now and then?" I asked. "Well, I could help you with your revision if you want." Later on we walked over to the park, which was buzzing with people and the sounds and sights of the fun fairground rides and games. We headed for the waltzers first. I loved being spun around at high speed, feeling James's arm around me as we laughed out loud. James drove me around on the dodgems and then I drove him around, as he laughingly covered his eyes at my appalling driving skills. Feeling hungry, we ate hot dogs piled high with onions, mustard and sauce, and we shared a bottle of beer. Then we wandered towards the stage area as the band had started to warm up. James saw Ian and another guy called Sean from work, and we went over to where they were standing. "Do you want any popcorn?" I asked, craving some sweetness. "Yeah, sounds good to me. Want me to come with you?" "No, it's fine." Turning around from the stand with my box of popcorn, I almost bumped into the back of a dark-haired woman. "Hi, Felicity." "Hi, what's your name again?" "Steph. I'm James's girlfriend." "Oh yes, how could I forget? Can't understand what James sees in a girl like you. He really needs a woman in his life." I just stared at her open mouth, wondering what I should say back, but she continued. "I see James every day. When he's not on poolside, he's in the gym working out like a maniac, which is normally a sign of sexual frustration. Oh, but you wouldn't know anything about that, I guess, at your age." "James loves me. He told me," I retorted, my face red with rage and upset at her remarks. "Well, we'll see about that. I should keep a close eye on him if I were you. He's a good-looking guy. and there are a lot of distractions at the pool. She flicked her hair and strolled off. I took a few steps and found a park bench and sat down heavily onto it as tears sprung to my eyes. I held them back, but I couldn't help but worry about what she had said and what those words implied. After all, I had seen the way she had looked at me the first time we had met. Composing myself, I was determined to put this behind me. She was obviously just jealous of what James and I shared. I was soon back next to him, and with his arms around me we enjoyed the music as I tried to forget the words swimming around in my head, bringing doubts and fears with them. After the music finished, we walked back home for our last night together. I tried not to let my run-in with Felicity spoil these precious moments we had left. In bed later I told James what had happened, and I could tell he was angry that I hadn't told him earlier. But in the end he said the words that more than made up for it. "It's you I'm with. You are my girlfriend, and you are the one I love." And he pulled me into his arms and he kissed me with such tenderness and longing that I almost cried with joy. Monday the 2nd of May 1988. As our last morning together dawned, I reached for James as soon as I was awake and started to kiss him with a passion and fierceness that I'd never felt before, determined to dispel those last few nagging doubts that Felicity had placed in my mind. I trailed my hands down his chest and felt his hardness spring up under my touch. Then, feeling very brave indeed, I let my mouth follow and decided that I would approach my first ever blowjob without fear. Gently ran my tongue down its length and then up again, gently to the tip. I did the same again as I felt James stroking my hair in a way that told me to continue. Tentatively, I opened my mouth and took the whole of the tip in and swirled my tongue over it, testing and tasting the whole of him. I heard James groan and push slightly on my head, so I took more in and then almost choked myself as it hit the back of my throat. Oh, this was going to need more practice, I thought, as I came up from under the duvet and replaced my tongue with my hand, remembering the way I had done this yesterday. James kissed me, his eyes hooked onto mine in a gaze that was hard to fathom, but I thought was the look of pure love. Then he shuddered and sighed as he came in my hand. I felt good, I felt naughty, I felt powerful and at the same time scared of the impact I had on James and that he had on me. "That was amazing," he breathed. "I want to do the same for you. Show me how." Oh my God, I'd only ever had orgasms in the shower, so how was I going to show James how to do this with his fingers? I don't know, I mumbled, so embarrassed by my omission. I've never done it with my fingers, only with the showerhead jet. "Okay then, shower it is. You can show me there." "I'll try," I said, suddenly so shy and nervous he must have felt me tremble in his arms. Under the warming jets of the shower we spent ages just kissing and stroking each other before James took the showerhead off its hook and placed my hand with his onto it. "Can't," I whispered as I turned away from him. "Okay," he responded as he turned me around towards him again. "I can wait as long as it takes because I love you. I love you too." Arriving back home, I didn't want to get out of the car, but James had to get back for his afternoon shift. He carried my bag upstairs and we shared one last, long, lingering kiss as he held me tightly in his arms. How I was going to miss the feel of them. It was as though he could read my mind. "I'll miss you so much, and we'll be back down to see you as soon as I have a free weekend, as long as it doesn't clash with your exam dates." I nodded, unable to speak as my throat was choking back the tears that were forming at his imminent departure. "I love you," I breathed softly into his chest where my head was resting. "I love you too, Stephanie." And I walked with him back to his car and watched as his tail lights disappeared from view as he turned the corner at the end of the road. I ran back to my room and threw myself on the bed and cried until my eyes were red and sore. Well, I hope that maybe this is bringing back happy memories of your first love. Once again, if you want to read ahead because I'm going too slowly, then the book is available on Amazon.com or Amazon.co.uk and it's a very reasonably cheap price. You can also find me on Facebook or follow me on Twitter, as I'd love to hear what you're thinking of this project. And by all means, please like this video, share this video with family and friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Anyway, take care for now, and I shall see you again soon. Bye bye.